My people, imagine waking up one morning, scrolling through the British press, and suddenly every outlet is shouting about the exact same thing: Harry and Meghan going to Australia. Now remember, these are the same outlets that consistently insist the couple are irrelevant, unimportant, and fading into obscurity. And yet, the moment travel plans appear, the newsroom react like someone just dropped the biggest scoop of the year. Now, let us start with the headlines themselves, because honestly, they tell the entire story. First up, Daily Mail runs with Harry and Meghan huge Australia plans, couple to return down under more than 7 years since last visit. Daily Mail. Then Hello Magazine announces, and I will quote, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle set to return to Australia next month. Details on their private visit revealed. Over the Independent, the headlines read, Harry and Meghan to visit Australia nearly 8 years after last royal tour. Another outlet goes, Harry and Meghan to make first trip to Australia in 7 years. And then there's this dramatic one, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle to announce bombshell Australia plans. Now, my people, let us pause for a second. Read those again. Read these headlines again. Huge plans, private visits revealed, first trip in 7 years, bombshell Australia plans. Does that sound like coverage of people the press consider irrelevant? Because it sure doesn't. If anything, those headlines read like the announcement of a blockbuster movie sequel. And right there, that right there, is the contradiction that keeps popping up when it comes to coverage of Prince Harry and Meghan Sussex. For years now, part of the UK press have pushed a narrative that the Sussexes are finished. Supposedly, nobody cares. Supposedly, the world has moved on. Yet, every time Harry and Meghan so much as board a plane, the headlines multiply faster than rabbits. It's nuts. It's nuts. Look, suddenly it's breaking news. Suddenly it's front page material. Suddenly everyone is talking about it. And then the Australia trip is a perfect example, my people. According to reports, Harry and Meghan are expected to visit Australia next month. But this time, it won't be a royal tour. It's being described as a private visit, which means they are traveling as private individuals rather than representing the monarchy. Even so, the level of attention from the media has been intense. Now, part of that attention comes from history. The last time the couple visited Australia was back in 2018 during a massive royal tour. At the time, it was one of the most talked about tours in recent royal history. Crowds packed the streets, events were full, the public reception was huge. It was also during that tour that the couple shared the joyful news that they were expecting their first child. So, Australia holds a special place in the story of Harry and Meghan. But here is the interesting part, my people. This new trip reportedly isn't about royal duties at all. Instead, it's expected to focus on a mix of private engagements, media appearances, and possibly charitable work. You know the story. Sources suggest the couple could spend time in major cities like Sydney and Melbourne, meeting with organizations and taking part in events connected to causes they support. For Harry, that could include conversations with the veterans community. His work supporting wounded service members through the Invictus Games Foundation has always had a strong connection in Australia, that is for sure. For Meghan Sussex, on the other hand, there are suggestions she could appear at events tied to women's empowerment and media initiatives. But again, my people, none of this is being presented as a royal tour. It's simply a visit. This is simply a visit at face value. And yet, look at the media reaction. Bombshell Australia plans. Huge Australia plans. You think it's a constitutional crisis that has just been announced. It's so ridiculous, my people. What's really happening here is something far more revealing about the media itself. Harry and Meghan remain one of the most talked about couples in the world. Whether people support them or criticize them, audiences still pay attention, and media outlets know it. They know that stories involving Harry and Meghan generate traffic, they spark debate, they get shared on social media. In other words, these two bring readers. So, when news about an Australian trip appears, editors don't hesitate. They jump on the story immediately. Every outlet publishes its own version. The headlines get bigger. The wording gets more dramatic. And suddenly, a simple travel announcement becomes a global headline. That is why you see 5 different outlets writing about the same visit within hours. Because in the modern media environment, attention is currency. Attention is currency. And like it or not, the Sussexes still command a lot of it. They command a lot of attention. Whether the media want to accept it or not, whether they want to write negative things about it, they demand attention. And now, another interesting angle here is the contrast between how the trip is described and how it's being framed. Now, the reports say the visit will likely be relatively low key. Private meetings, small events, perhaps some charity work. But the headlines, they sound like the couple are staging a royal comeback tour. That's the power of tabloid storytelling. A simple visit becomes huge plans. A travel announcement becomes a bombshell. And suddenly, readers are hooked. But step back and look at the bigger picture. If Harry and Meghan, if these two truly had no influence at all, if nobody cared about what they were doing, these headlines simply wouldn't exist. We both know that is true, my people. Newsroom don't scramble over stories that don't bring readers. They don't publish multiple articles about people who generate no interest. The reaction itself proves the opposite of what some critics claim. The truth is, Harry and Meghan continue to capture global attention in a way very few public figures can. Their every move sparks conversation, and whether the coverage is supportive or critical, the media keeps coming back for more. So now, the big question is, what actually happens when they arrive in Australia? Will there be public appearances? Will fans show up like they did during the 2018 tour? Will the visit stay private or turn into a major media moment anyway? Because if the headlines are any indication, the press is already preparing for it like it's the event of the year. And here's the funny part. The same outlets that spent years insisting Harry and Meghan didn't matter are now counting down the days until they land in Australia. These same outlets. Now, if that is irrelevance, it is the loudest irrelevance the media has ever reported. That has been it for this video, my people. Smash a like on the video if you love more of this content. Subscribe to this channel for more royal truth bombs. Thank you so much for watching until the end. I have been your good host. I go by the name Given. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you in the next video.